G'day YouTube, welcome back to my channel. It's been a very wet few weekends in Melbourne. So what's happened is, it's very hard for me to film if it's very wet. But what's happened is we've had a wet week and haven't been able to get out with my trees. And one thing happens is lots of rain equals lots of good growth in spring. So for Melbourne, when it rains a lot in spring, we get heaps of growth. So this Trident maple, one of my favourites. You can see it's the root on the side of the rock. Now you can start to see how it's starting to, I've missed pinching back, and in like half a week it's grown this much. It's really started to shoot out quite heavily. But today would be, if it's still a bit wet, you can see the foliage, or maybe you can see the foliage is still a bit wet. Just been raining overnight, but luckily the sun's come out today and I've been able to get out here and do some videoing and working on trees. So what it is just how you maintain a tree like this. It's a Trident maple. I'll show you some of the other Tridents, the big ones that you see behind this tree after I finish with this. But I pretty much come in and start to look through the tree, starting from the bottom, just observing what's happening. You know, I see some nice little bits here. There's no real long elongation at the bottom. It's because a lot of the top is always growing as faster than the bottom. So usually I don't do too much at all to the bottom. Like, there's really nothing to remove. There's some nice new shoots here, but that's okay. I'm going to leave it, work my way through. There's nothing really elongating here. Now I haven't decided to defoliate yet. Maybe, you know, maybe closer to the end of November. It's the start of November now. Maybe I'll do it. Oh, you could do it now, but I want to try and control some of the growth back. Defoliation is really good. This tree responds well to defoliation. I find that it gives it lots more new shoots come out. Ramification helps with ramification, and more ramification means smaller foliage. So the foliage is getting quite big. Maybe you can see that in my hand. So you can see it's getting quite big. I don't like that size. So probably a very good candidate to defoliate in the next probably couple of weeks when I find some time. Probably towards the end of November if I get some time, or mid-November, so maybe in a few weeks' time. Yeah, but really come through, keeps going around. There's nothing really elongated around here in this area. Now I am finding some dieback, so some small twigs have died back. I know they're definitely dead and they're crispy. So I can just start to remove those. Yep, so that's what you do. So this time of year I can go in and take out anything that's dead, don't need it, it's not going to grow. So a lot of this is fine. So when you look at it, it's really the top half is really start to shoot, and that's what always happens with deciduous trees. Now I prefer, I mean, this tree is what it is. It's styled in a more triangle shape, if you know what I'm saying. It shouldn't be styled in a pine shape, but it is what it is. It's too late. But I am thinking about my other trees and trying to play around with getting the foliage growing upwards. So anyway, let's come in here. You can see some of this foliage is starting to get quite leggy, so I try and reduce it. You know, there's quite a long internodes, so they come off. It's just pretty much go around and trim stuff off. Now look at this foliage. Look how long. I'll show you this. I'll cut this off. Look how long that branch and that twig is. So when I defoliate, I'll cut it off like that, and that will go away, and I'll get shoots that are probably that small. In the next run, a lot of leaves or smaller. So that's the point of defoliation, but that's not today. Today's just working away, going through, taking anything that's really has a long internode. So just come through. Pretty much I cut right back to where I can see the new growth. I'll cut right back. So it's pretty much all in the top half of the tree. Also look for pests at this time of year. Look for anything like caterpillars love to come out now and eat everything. So just be wary. So this is a really long one at the top. So don't need to have that. That's pretty much grew in a week. So that's what happens with rain. Lots of nice rain, humidity, and some sun. That's what happens. So it just needs some minor bit of work. You see that? and you bring it all back into shape. I know some of these leaves, so when I defoliate, I'll get rid of all those long ones and they'll be gone. So this is getting ready for defoliation. As I said, probably in a couple of weeks time. But yeah, that's that one done. Just a very quick light trim, and you can see it comes back into shape. And you push back the growth. You don't want the growth to be right out there. Just saw some more up here. Cool. So I'll grab another tree and I'll show you the difference. So this is the guy you see on the right of the video every time. It's sitting at the back. You can see it's a big guy. Like, if you can see me in the picture, it's a pretty big tree. Huge amounts of foliage, like really filling out. But it's styled again as a pine kind of tree. The other thing to do is something you weed. When you see the weeds, pull them out. You saw my other videos. I've left too many weeds on, so really want to get in there and get through it. So again, same. The tree has the same issues. All the top is starting to grow really heavily, but there's a lot of long growth here. So things like that start to come off. Go through it again. This needs a defoliation, which I will do. Just go through the tree, look through. I like the inside. The inside is really starting to grow well, so that's good news. I want the inner nodes to work really well. Go through the tree. That looks alright. Usually it's just the ends have really started to take off. That's what naturally happens anyway. So just go through the tree. Yeah, this side's getting a lot of growth. This side must get more sun. Try and turn your trees around as well when we're on the benches. Like, I hate looking at this tree from the back, but sometimes I have to put it that way so I can get even foliage all the way around, even sun all around. Now, the one thing I wanted to show you with this tree is there's an issue at the back of the tree, and I'll come to that shortly. We're almost at the back of the tree. So the back of the tree is quite sparse, but the problem is in here. There's nothing in there. There's a huge gap in there. So I am trying to work through, trying to get branches bent around to fill that gap in, or bent up to fill that gap in. So that's one thing I'm working on, even some of the top, bringing some of that down. Because I need to fill this gap to make it a bit more fuller. It's too pointy. You see how it's really pointy at the moment. And there's a huge gap in here. Like, seriously, my hands fits in there. So that's one of the problems. I think I lost a branch recently or something. Why that was, and I haven't been able to fill it out. For some reason, nothing wants to grow into that gap. Yeah, I'll let the sun hit this side too, trying to get it to grow. But yeah, it's what's been happening. So I've got to work on that. Go through the tree. It's getting too long. So now I have to stand pretty much to be able to see the top of the tree. But it's actually good to know. So some of these I saw some nice branches in there. Maybe I can bring him around and stack up. So yeah. It's good to, when you don't have the foliage, it's hard to know where it's all going to fit. So once the foliage grows, you kind of know what you can do in terms of blocking it. Like I don't. That's me. So you can see it really starting to improve. Now I have noticed some of these branches are starting to get intertwined a bit too much. So I might need a wiring job as well on this tree. Won't be now, won't be today. But when I defoliate, I then look at try and wiring up this tree again, or puts a bit of wire on it. So you can see that is already, if I just open it up a bit, I don't want to bend them down, I want to just open it up. And you'll see some bits in there as well. Yeah. And here too, here the same problem, it's starting to get a bit too heavy in this area. But nice and healthy tree, very good, very strong growing. Loves the defoliation as well, comes back nice and smaller leaves and puts out lots of new branching as well, so that's good. but it's a heavy guy. It's pretty heavy a tree as well. So yeah, just a quick little trim up. That's what you got to do. You don't have to bring it out to the bench. You can just trim it where it is. If you don't have the, if you don't have the time as well, just trim it where it is. Keep it trimmed. Keep the top in control as well. That really escapes on you. You saw most of the trimming happened on top. Yeah. Okay, I'll grab another tree and see what that looks like. Alright, so this is a bit more problematic. This is a tree that's you've seen this one before. It's got a smaller tree with a nice nabari, lots of weeds. This is what happens when you don't weed enough and look at your trees enough. If I could do this every day, this wouldn't be a problem. But this tree which happens in your collection, just gets away from you. Now look at some of these branching. It just really got away from me. However, I'm not too fussed because I want to try. This tree is very much a big trunk and has branching like a trident, like a triangular shape, which I'm not keen on. So I'm really interested to see how I can maybe develop some of these bigger branches and disrupt the growth of this tree. Try to get it more into a deciduous looking tree. So I'm not too fussed with all this heavy growth. Like that is a lot of growth. Now, what it is, I had some wire on this tree. Now, that's the bit we want to look at today. So I had some wire, look, it's already cutting in, and I've just put that on. So, got to get this wire off. I don't want to bore you with that, but anyway, I've got to go through this tree and get the wire off. So, that's what happens when these big shoots take off. And yeah, you got to be very careful. Because this tree I think is still in development, quite heavily in development. It's going to do this, but you saw the rock one, the one on the rock. It doesn't grow as fast because it's not in development. It's just a smaller pot, things like that. But this tree just took right off, still healthy and in development, and now all the wire's cutting into the branching. So it's all got to come off. It's just starting to cut, so it's a good time to get it off so it doesn't do any more damage. Yeah, I'm going to go through the tree and pretty much take off all that wire. But today is also about keeping, where's the shape gone? It's just totally lost. When we saw it without leaves and stuff, it was really looking good, but now it's just gone crazy. But again, I want to disrupt this tree. I want to change a bit of the way this tree grows. So hopefully I can start to develop a bit more length in certain areas. Try to get some more bigger branching out here, a bit more branching so it actually grows more of a fan shape rather than a triangular shape. So I'm going to take all the wire off and then I'll come back and just trim it up and show you what I've ended up with. So I removed the wire that was cutting in. But what I wanted to show you is I've left some of these big ones, left some of these longer branches here, because I find there's a deficiency in this area. If I can get some nice branching happening out here to try and fix the kind of deciduous look, I might actually win some battles and get moving in the right direction. In here you can see, I don't know if you can tell, but so you can see the branches starting to go sweep up, which is what I like. Towards the top, they're all kind of pointing upwards in a fan shape, so they're doing well. So that's why that's been cut back quite hard. You can see there's not much at all there. I've just cut right back because all the branching is starting to go this way, like a fan, which is what I was after. Just got to figure out how I'm going to get that happening in here. So I'm trying to leave the shoots in here that go this way, so we can try and get the fan shape. These I'm trying to let go a bit longer to get that strength here, because this is actually a short stubby branch in here. You can't see it, but it's a short stubby branch. Doesn't look good. So I'm letting these elongate to make it a bigger branch, or branches to form a bigger canopy. Sorry, lots of flies. On this side it's not doing too bad. Now you won't be able to see, but there's a really low branch that's just starting to happen right at there's a wound down here that I might create another trunk. So I'm going to let that grow, and I don't know if you can see, but this one that I'm holding here, so I've exposed it to the light, and I'm trying to get that. I'm not going to touch that. I want to try and get that growing really strong and hard, and I might be able to get another trunk in there, so it starts to break up the tree and make it a more deciduous kind of tree. Even though this is a two trunk, there's a big trunk and a smaller trunk, maybe having a third one would help as well. There's nothing will grow on this side, I don't think, so we're going to be lackluster there. But if I have these growing, it might fix that issue. So there you go. This is still in development, but it's a really nice looking tree and a potentially very, very good tree. So I might stop there because the video will get too long, but there's 3 tridents that you just got to go through in spring. Make sure you get, you work through them and get them right. So hope you enjoyed that one. Little trident update in spring and what's happened. So yeah, subscribe if you haven't already to the channel, and see you soon.